I am the teller of stories. These are stories I have written for young children. If they are ready to read, they can read them. If not, they can listen to the recording. Sometimes it's better to listen to the story, because then you can use your imagination. The first story I am going to read is called Captain Jack and the Pirates. In this story, which is in 3 parts, the pirates capture a treasure ship. In the second part, they go to an island where treasure is buried from a map they found on the treasure ship. And in the third part, they're on the island and they find the treasure, but when they try to go home, the pirates start to disappear one by one. Do they get away? Well, you'll need to read the story to find out. The treasure ship. The wind whistled quietly through the sails of the galleon, pushing it swiftly through the calm sea. It was an awesome sight. The hull was painted a pitch black colour, and along each side there were 12 wooden covers, each one covering one of the 24 guns carried by the ship. On the sail there was a huge painting of a rose, a black rose, and at the top of the mast a large flag, which had skull and crossbones on it, was fluttering in the breeze. This was no ordinary vessel. It was the most feared pirate ship in the Caribbean, the Black Rose. At the very top of the highest mast in the crow's nest, Jake, the first mate, was searching the ocean for signs of any ships. Suddenly Jake shouted, "Ship ahoy!" The captain asked, "Is it the treasure ship?" Jake peered through his telescope and replied, "Aye, Captain, it is." The captain bellowed to his crew of pirates, "Get to it, lads, open the gun ports." The pirates scrambled to their gun stations and hauled open the ports, at the same time pulling the cannons out to face the sea. The Black Rose closed on the treasure ship, and the captain gave the order, "Open fire." At this command, the 12 cannons facing the treasure ship fired in turn, and the masts of the treasure ship were smashed down. The pirates threw grappling irons and pulled the ship close together, and with blurred, curdling shouts, they scrambled aboard the treasure ship. The crew tried to fight back, but could not win against the ferocious pirates and soon surrendered. The captain ordered the pirates to lock the captives in the hold of the Black Rose and to bring the treasure onto the deck. The 2 ships separated, and there was a loud explosion on the treasure ship where the pirates had laid their charges. The treasure ship keeled over and began to sink slowly beneath the waves. Finally, it disappeared completely, leaving only a few pieces of the mast floating on the surface. The captain divided the treasure into 2 piles and said to his crew of pirates, "Here you are, lads, half for you and half for me." Some of the pirates muttered under their breath, but none dare complain, because their captain was Captain Jack, the most feared pirate in all the Caribbean. Pearl Island. It was the morning after the capture of the treasure ship, and the crew of pirates was assembled on the deck of the Black Rose, waiting for Captain Jack. They were a fierce, frightening looking lot. One-armed Sam was over 6 foot tall. He had lost his arm in a fight, but not before he had beaten 10 of his opponents. Another was Glass-Eye Pete. He had a black glass eye in his left eye socket, which made him look particularly scary. The rest of the crew were scared too. Most of them had scars on their faces and didn't look as though they'd shaved for months. They didn't believe in having a bath, so you can imagine how smelly they were. Then Captain Jack appeared on the top deck. He stood near the wheel and glared down at the crew. None of the pirates were as scared as the captain. He had red, glaring eyes, scars all down the side of his face, and he wore a large, vicious-looking cutlass at his side. He shouted to the pirates, "Be quiet, you filthy, scurvy lot! I have good news for you. We are going to find a real haul of treasure. When we captured the treasure ship, I found a map showing exactly where the treasure is buried." The crew were very excited at this news, and Glass-eyed Pete asked, "Where is the treasure, Captain?" Captain Jack replied, "It's on Pearl Island, lads. Only a few days sailing from here." Actually, the treasure was on Pearl Island, but he wasn't going to tell them that. He knew that they were a superstitious lot, and there had been lots of strange tales about Pearl Island, stories that whole crews had gone there and never came back. "Hoist the sails, lad. Let's all get rich," he said, and the crew ran to their stations on the ship and got ready to sail. Captain Jack thought to himself, "What they don't know can't hurt them. They haven't a clue where we're going, and none of them can read, so they can't read my maps." 2 days later, the Black Rose anchored off the island. The pirate crew stood at the rails looking at the island. It was not very large, but they could see it was covered in a strange fog. "Let's go ashore, lads, and find this treasure," said Captain Jack. A few of the crew stayed on board to guard the ship, and the rest, who were armed to the teeth, climbed into the longboats and began to row towards the shore. Escape from Pearl Island. The crew rowed their boats towards the island. As they drew closer, it began to look very ominous, with the fog swirling around the trees. Some of the crew started to mutter amongst themselves. "Be quiet!" shouted Captain Jack. "There's nothing to be scared of. Put your backs into it." Soon the boats reached the shore, and the pirates pulled them onto the beach. They could see the top of a high mountain above the swirling fog. "Head towards the mountain," Captain Jack said. "There should be a clearing ahead." The pirates used their cutlasses to cut through the dense undergrowth. It was eerily and scarily quiet. No monkeys chattering, no birds squawking, only the swishing sound of the cutlasses cutting through the undergrowth. It seemed ages until finally they reached a clearing. There were a few trees and some rocks, and Captain Jack used his dagger to pin the map to a tree trunk. He scrutinised the map and said to the pirates, "Look for a rock with a skull carved on it." They looked around, and soon one-armed Sam said, "Over here, Captain." Captain Jack turned to Jake and said, "Go to the rock and walk towards the mountain 10 paces. Jack went to the rock and started to pace out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. "All right, now turn left and walk 7 paces. Jake turned left and counted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Captain Jack went to the spot where Jake had stopped and plunged his cutlass into the ground. "Start digging here, lads," he said. All the pirates started digging, and soon Glass-eyed Pete shouted, "Captain, I found something!" The pirates dug furiously and soon uncovered 3 large chests and hauled them to the surface. Each chest had a large padlock, and Captain Jack took out his pistol and shot off the lock from one of them. They opened the chest and saw it was full of gold and jewels. "We found it, lads. We're rich. Let's take it back to the ship." The pirates started back to the ship, following the path they had cleared. It was still very quiet, but they were all very excited at finding the treasure, so they did not feel too scared. Suddenly there was a rustling sound in the bushes, and without a sound the pirate at the rear disappeared off the path. No one seemed to notice, but then another pirate disappeared, and then another. When the other pirates saw some of their mates had gone, they began to run towards the edge of the forest, but more pirates mysteriously were dragged by the unseen force into the jungle. Now they were really panicking and dropped the chest and ran as fast as they could, stumbling on the roots of the trees as they went. None ran faster than Captain Jack. Eventually the remaining pirates reached the beach and very quickly clambered into the boats and rowed as fast as they could towards the Black Rose. Once aboard the ship, Captain Jack told the pirates to hoist sail, get away from the island. He had lost half his crew and they had to leave all the treasure, but at least some had survived. What it was on the island that had taken his crew, he did not know. No one had seen anything, but there was definitely some unknown ghostly presence. Captain Jack thought to himself, I was lucky to escape, and there's one thing for sure, I'm never going back to Pearl Island again.